What's going on, Ravens fans? Welcome into the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. We got a ton to get into on today's show. Starting off first with a little word from Mike Garafolo on Lamar Jackson. That is the news that we have all been waiting for. After that, we're going to talk about last night's Super Bowl. Everything that last night's Seahawks win over the Patriots taught me moving forward for the 2026 Baltimore Ravens. And then we're going to round this thing out with the coaching staff getting finalized. Only a couple more moves that need to be made by Jesse Minter before everything is set and ready to roll for next season for the Baltimore Ravens. It was hard watching Mike Macdonald win a Super Bowl last night. Hard and exciting. I know you guys probably felt very, very happy for him. But at the same time, we all were wishing that that was us with him, if you know what I'm saying. I need you to show him some love for me, though, down below in this video by hitting that thumbs up button. Liking that video, show Mike Mack that you love him, support him all the way from Baltimore. So Mike Garafolo had a lot of really great things to say for Ravens fans about Lamar Jackson. I know the speculation has begun. Could the Baltimore Ravens potentially trade Lamar Jackson? No, not feeling that. Let's turn our attention to a potential contract extension. The Ravens have talked about this. I mentioned the trade talk or the trade speculation. Forget about that because Lamar Jackson was part of this head coaching process. He was on the virtual interviews with head coaching candidates. He was consulted for the offensive coordinator job, which went to Declan Doyle. And it feels like every single one of us needed to hear this badly because over the last couple of weeks, even when they moved on from John Harbaugh, there continued to be speculation about the Baltimore Ravens possibly being interested in trading away Lamar Jackson. I think the Jesse Minter hire scared a decent bit of people because they went the defensive route. I think Declan Doyle, that hire may have scared a little bit of people because he, is 29 years old and has never called plays in the National Football League. And both of those things happened. I think a lot of Ravens fans saw that and said, man, is Lamar Jackson just going to be so upset? And the answer is no. Mike Garafolo just showed us he was in on those decisions in some sense of the word. And I know there's going to be a lot of Ravens fans that hit me with, but Joey, what about that one day on Twitter when he retweeted talking about him going to Las Vegas Raiders? You remember that? It's Twitter, guys. It doesn't matter, right? And he also replied to that same tweet and said, look, I didn't even see that. I just retweeted a kid wearing my jersey. But Joey, what about that report from Diana Rossini about Lamar Jackson wanting Cliff Kingsbury? Yeah, I saw that report too. We discussed it on this channel. They consulted him for the offense coordinator job, right? If it really would have been one of those situations where Lamar Jackson said, you hire a Cliff or I'm gone, you know what? I bet they probably would have hired Cliff Kingsbury. I'm sure Lamar Jackson's excited about Declan Doyle, but Joey, Lamar Jackson wasn't at Jesse Minter's press conference. Yeah, neither were a lot of guys, okay? So I think we can all just pump the brakes. You can speculate all you want. I saw what I needed to when the Baltimore Ravens moved on from John Harbaugh. It felt like at the end of the season, this franchise was coming at a crossroads. And that crossroads was who are you going to go with? Lamar Jackson or John Harbaugh? Guess who's not here right now? Guess who's in New York? Not Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh. They chose number 8. They chose QB1. And once they did that, every trade rumor, every trade discussion, I kind of didn't really even give much thought to it because they showed me what they needed to when they made that decision in early January. When do you think Lamar Jackson will get extended? Let me know your answer down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think. He will get extended. Okay, I can promise you that. It's not just because Mike Garafolo is saying it. It's because the numbers say so as well. Like when you look at his cap hits for the next 2 seasons, 2026 and 2024, if you thought 2025 was high, just wait till you see those, ladies and gentlemen. Almost $75 million against the cap over the next 2 years. And that new fiscal year starts in about a month. So you kind of got to get on this decision decently quickly. Now, the good thing is the Buffalo Bills gave Baltimore the perfect blueprint just a year ago when they extended Josh Allen. He got 6 years, $330 million total, $55 million average, $250 guaranteed. Like, you could literally do every single one of those metrics for Lamar Jackson. I guarantee you he'd take a 6-year contract worth $330, average $55. Maybe you up the guaranteed a little bit to sweeten the deal, to tell him, hey, look, we think you're better than Josh Allen is. But you've got the blueprint. It's easy And extension saves $40 million in 2026 and 2027. $40 million, ladies and gentlemen. And with that saved money, you can go ahead and sign Tyler Linderbaum, take him away from free agency. Make sure to do that before free agency opens up, because if he goes out to the open market, I don't know how good I feel about you being able to lock him down. You could sign Jalen Phillips or Trey Hendrickson, whichever one suits you. I don't really care. Get an edge rusher. You could sign John Myers. Help that interior defensive line a little bit, because I think we all knew after 2025 that interior defensive line needed a little bit of beef. But you got to keep Lamar around. These extension talks, I don't even think they need to be discussions. Sure, he had a little bit of a down year in 2025, but man, he's still Lamar Jackson. And I know we all watched the Super Bowl last night. We all watched Mike Macdonald hoist the trophy, Kenny Walker win MVP, Sam Darnold become a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And my personal thought on that is, look, if you're winning a Super Bowl soon, it is with Lamar Jackson. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that from me. You think Lamar Jackson will win a Super Bowl? Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no down below in the comment section. I think he will, but I want to hear what you guys have to think as well. Real quick, we got to give a big shout out to our awesome friends over at PrizePicks, and you should shoot your shot on PrizePicks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. PrizePicks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. PrizePicks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting, so don't miss this chance to get started on America's #1 sports picks app. PrizePicks is simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Pick from all your favorite sports, anything from basketball, baseball, hockey, UFC, soccer, college basketball, tennis, golf, esports, and more. PrizePicks now has early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you might have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Here was my PrizePicks lineup for yesterday's big game, and this thing cashed in, baby. I had the more on Drake May, half a passing yard. That one was good. Ramondre Stevenson, less than 50.5 rush yards. I believe he was somewhere around 23. And I had the more on Cooper Kupp, 32.5 receiving yards. He led the Seahawks in receiving and got well more than 32.5. Cashed in on the big game. Hopefully you did as well. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. So I learned a couple of things from last night's Super Bowl. Number one, I believe you made the right hire. Look, I get it. Everybody wants to go offensively. Everybody wants to go with that sexy new offensive name, the exciting guy. But Jesse Minter, I believe, was the right move. Because I watched a Mike Macdonald defense last night win a Super Bowl. Sure, the Seattle Seahawks as a team won that thing, but if that defense didn't do what they were doing, man, it would have been a totally different game. Guess who else runs that same style of defense? Jesse Minter. So I believe you made the right move. What I also learned from last night, you got to build the trenches, man. This is back-to-back Super Bowls that has taught us this exact lesson, that if you can get to the quarterback with 4 guys, if you can get to the quarterback consistently, you're going to be able to win these postseason games. You're going to be able to win a Super Bowl. Seattle had 4 edge rushers that had 5 or more pressures last night. Not in the postseason, not in 2026, last night in the game. New England allowed a 52.8% pressure rate. That means on over half of Drake May's dropbacks, he felt pressure. If you don't need more of a perfect example of why you need this offseason to build in the trenches, to build on that defense line, I don't even know what else I have to show. Couple of coaching staff moves to round us out on today's show. Matt Zenitz reported this weekend Ravens hiring Patrick Kramer as a member of their offensive staff, worked for the Falcons for the last 5 seasons. Kramer, he's going to be kind of like an assistant role, nothing crazy. I like the hire. Again, I continue to be in favor of adding guys on the offensive side of the football that have a ton of experience, because you're working with a first-time offensive coordinator in Declan Doyle. Brian Wacker also reported the Ravens coaching addition, longtime NFL and college coach Jesse Minter's father, Rick. He was a senior analyst for the Chargers and will have a similar role in Baltimore. Again, nothing crazy there. He's going to be an analyst. Dad joined son. Cool story. Happy to have Rick on the staff. And then also, late on, this was, I believe, Friday night, the Ravens expected to hire Broncos pass game specialist Zack Grossi as tight ends coach. Sources tell CBS Sports, been with Denver the last 4 seasons, helped the Broncos rank 10th in NFL total offense this year. I think the tight end room is talented, but I do believe it needs a little bit of a new voice. Excited for Zack Grossi to be that voice. So that rounds out your offensive coaching staff almost. Still waiting on that wide receiver coach hire. You got Declan Doyle, Joe Lombardi, Israel Woolfork, Eddie Faulkner, Dwayne Ledford, Shawn Flaherty, Zack Grossi, Patrick Kramer, and Marcus Brady. And on the defensive side of the football, I believe things are done there. Maybe an assistant or two, but you got Anthony Weaver, Lou Esposito, Harlan Bauer, Tyler Santucci, Mike Mickens, Miles Taylor, P.J. Volker, and Charlie Gelman. Taking the opposite approach on the defensive side of the football, just getting a bunch of guys that are in the college ranks or young NFL guys, because you know you're going to have a defensive play caller that's going to be able to truly, truly man the defense in Jesse Minter. Which hire was the best from Minter? You let me know down below in the comments. I still believe that Dwayne Ledford, that hire on the offensive line, is going to be able to, will prove to be a really great move by Minter once we get in the season. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on today's show. Happy Monday. We'll see you later today. We'll see you all throughout the week. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow us on socials, and we'll see you next time.